As well, if you have children seated on your lap, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure they're seated facing forward at all times. Please no standing on your lap, and this is not the Lion King show, guys. So you are not Rafiki, they are not Simba, so please don't hold them up in the air. If you guys do have any personal belongings, hold on to them tightly. It's going to get a bit bumpy out here, and we cannot stop the vehicle for anything that's fallen out. And for those cameras, you'll want to put them on sports mode or action mode, just because, unfortunately, we cannot stop for every single animal, and even when we do stop, the animals don't tend to stop for us. So sports mode or action mode is best. So you guys actually look to your right. Walking out from behind the bushes there. That is an okapi. Now, okapis a lot of times people think are related to zebras because of the stripes on their legs, but they're actually the only living relative left of the giraffe, having that same long prehensile tongue.
Wow, awesome.
On your left-hand side, standing right behind this dirt mound, is a black rhino. Now, black rhinos can get up to a maximum of 3,000 pounds, and they are an endangered species being hunted to extinction for the horns on top of their head, which are made of keratin, just like our fingernails. Unfortunately, they've been hunted so much that there's only about 5,000 of them left in the world today. Then on your right-hand side and coming up on your left-hand side, those are bongo. Now, bongo are considered the ghosts of the forest, and that's because they rarely are seen. Bongo populations have declined about 20% in the last 3 generations due to deforestation. So one way to count them out, go home and conserve and recycle your paper. Then on your right-hand side as well, those light tan-colored antelope, those are greater kudu. Now, those are going to be females because the males are the only ones that have horns on top of their head, and those horns can get up to about 6 feet in length, making them the longest of any antelope. But as we leave the little Aturi forest, we're making our way into the Safe River, which is home to hippos, crocodiles, and aquatic bird species such as pink-backed pelicans. Hippos are going to spend most of their day underneath the water for sun protection and sleep. A lot of times they're going to do this in groups called floats, and they can stay underneath the water for up to 8 minutes at a time. Now, if you ever do see a hippo moving through the water, they are actually running or walking along the bottom. They do not swim. But if you guys look to your left, the lobe of hippos. Now that reddish coloration you see on their skin, don't worry, that is not sunburn. That is actually a secretion they put out of their skin that acts as a suntan lotion. And then on your left-hand side as well, those white-colored birds on top of the island there, those are pink-backed pelicans. They get their name from the pink coloration they get on their back during mating season. They do have a wingspan of about 7 to 9 feet in length, and both the males and females will sit on the nest to incubate the eggs during nesting season, which is approximately 30 days. And then coming up on your left-hand side are Nile crocodiles. Now they can get up to a maximum of 16 feet and 500 pounds. Crocodilians are considered ectothermic. They're going to use their external environment to cool and cool their body temperature. So if you ever see them with their mouths open, that is actually a way to dissipate excess body heat so they don't overheat. In crocodilians, there's 3 different types in the world. There's gharials, crocodiles, and alligators. Crocodiles have a V-shaped snout with a toothy grin to them, and the way you tell the alligator apart is that it has a U-shaped snout. Upside down. Those are baobab trees, and they are leafless about 9 months out of the year. They do have a very large trunk in which they're migrating animals each and every year, and they're going to be the ones that make up what the ecosystem looks like. So the giraffes are going to prune the undersides of the tree, the elephants knock down the trees to eat them, and the antelope, well, they pretty much mow the grass. To your left, all the way underneath that big bush, and then it looks like some are up against the rock wall as well, are African wild dogs or painted dogs. Now each dog does have a unique pattern to its coat, and each member of the pack can recognize each other by that pattern, even at a distance. There's about 5 to 15 dogs in a pack, with the alpha male and female being the most dominant breeding pair. Left-hand side, those dark brown colored antelope are sable antelope. They are the official emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Those large horns on top of their head are used for dominance displays during mating season, and then for self-defense against predators, say if a lion tries to jump on their back. The savanna. Those are termite mounds, and they are excellent scratching posts for elephants. They're going to knock them down to be about the size of a hill, and then the antelope will jump on top of them, scout out over the high grass to see if any predators are lurking. And then coming up on your right hand side, those dark gray colored antelope are white-bearded wildebeest. They are the most densely packed animal in the world other than humans, and they do get the nickname in Africa of New, G-N-U. And they get that from the grunting sounds they make. Does that sound like new? Whenever their young are born, they are going to be up and standing and moving about within 15 minutes of birth. Makes them a little bit less vulnerable to predators. Off on your right as well, those smaller antelope, those are springbok. Now, springbok do get their name because they can spring up into the air about 6 feet high and spring forward about 13 feet. They're one of the top 10 fastest land mammals, reaching speeds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. And they are full grown at that size. So on your left-hand side are giraffes, more specifically Maasai giraffes. Now, giraffes are the tallest animal in the world, getting to about 18 to 20 feet in height. And when their young are born, they are going to be around 6 feet tall. Now, each giraffe's pattern is unique to that giraffe, just like each of our fingerprints are unique to us. And if you do notice their tongue, to give you an estimate, that is about the length of their arm. Your arm. And on top of that, it's going to be a dark purple coloration. Scientists say that so that they don't get sunburn on their tongue, since they pretty much have it out all day long. On your left-hand side are mandrills. Now, mandrills are the largest monkeys in the world. You can distinguish them by their bright blue and red facial markings, which do become more brilliant the more excited the monkey gets. They do have storage pouches in the sides of their cheeks to store food, kind of like a chipmunk. And with the male's markings on his body, that actually does make him the most colorful monkey in the world. And that is a very nice looking watering hole on our right hand side. Elephants love watering holes like that. Now, African elephants are an endangered species. They're being hunted for their tusks, which are made of ivory. You guys actually look to your right. possibly could be a male. Males tend to live a solitary lifestyle or in smaller all-male bachelor groups compared to females that live in larger groups with their young. But we're going to move on, guys, and see if we can find a larger group of elephants. If you ever do see elephants throwing dirt or mud up onto their back, this is for a very good reason. They have sensitive skin just like we do, and they can get sunburned just like we can, so that dirt and mud actually acts as a sunscreen. Elephants being poached for their tusks, but they're also dealing with habitat loss as well. And this is from mineral mining for something called coltan, which is found in your electronics. So it does show, even if you guys recycle one cell phone, you're making a big impact and really helping the elephants out. Now, because of this habitat loss, elephants have started to encroach on farmers' farmland, which is not a good thing. So they started doing studies trying to figure out what in the world can be done to fix this problem. And believe it or not, they found out elephants are afraid of bees. So in Kenya, they started implementing beehives all around the farmers' farmland. The elephants don't encroach on the farmland anymore, and the farmers get extra money from the honey. So it's a win-win. Plus, on top of that, you're actually helping out bee populations, which is pretty amazing, considering the first bee was just put on the endangered species list. Back and forth really fast. I saw one of them doing it over here. That is actually a way for them to cool their body system down. They're going to start flapping them back and forth. That increases surface area and is able to cool their body temperature by about 10 degrees or so. On your left-hand side in the watering hole over here is a group of greater flamingos. Does anybody know what a group of flamingos is called?
Flamboyance.
That it is. It's called a flamboyance. Greater flamingos are the least pink of all the flamingos, and they get that pink coloration from their diet, which consists of brine shrimp and other water organisms containing something called carotene. Now, you wouldn't think it, but flamingos are actually filter feeders. They're going to push water through the front of their beak and then out through the sides of their beak, filtering out the food they want to eat. And here's a really gross fact for you. So if you guys look where those flamingos are bending their legs, that is not their knee. Their knee is actually all the way up in their feathers. That is their ankle that they're bending that way. I don't know about you guys, but I know my ankle doesn't bend like that. Over there is a white rhino. Now, white rhinos do get larger than black rhinos, getting to about 4,000, 5,000 pounds. They get their name from the Afrikaans word of bite, which actually means wide, not white, for their wide, broad mouths that they have. And that one looks like it's probably been rolling around in this mud hole on our left-hand side recently. White rhinos do have very thick skin. It's about 2 inches thick, but it's also very sensitive. So they're going to use that mud just like elephants as a sunscreen, but not only that, but as a bug repellent as well. 2 in 1. Right. So coming that's another big tree. Right behind that, all the way in the corner, underneath the bushes there, are 2 cheetahs. Now, cheetahs are the fastest land mammal, reaching speeds of 60 miles per hour within 3 seconds. They pretty much do all of their hunting during the day compared to big cats that will do it at night. And cheetahs are built for speed, not power. So say they just caught a prey item and a lion comes over and challenges them for that prey item. Unfortunately, they don't have the strength to stand up to the lion, so they will have to run away. Two big trees. The one on the left, right at the base of it, there's a fallen down log as well. There's 2 warthogs laying over there by that tree. Now, warthogs are the largest burrowing animals in the world. There's actually one on the other side of the fallen down log as well. And they're going to use their tusks, hooves, and snouts to dig those burrows. Now, if they don't feel like digging a burrow, just borrow it from another animal that's not using it anymore. Here's a better look at some of those white rhinos, and a group of rhinos like that is called a crash. On your right hand side as well are ostriches. Now, ostriches are the largest bird in the world. Don't worry, those wings are not for flying. They are for steering left to right whenever they're walking or running. Fun fact, an ostrich egg when it's laid is around 3 pounds. So to get to that same poundage, you guys would have to go to the grocery store and buy 2 dozen of the eggs that you eat today. And then on your right hand side, those are bontebok. Now, bontebok unfortunately are 100% extinct in the wild today. You can only find them on reserves like this one in farmers' farmland. Now, we do have the farmers in Africa to thank for them to not be gone 100%. And that is because there was only 20 of them left in the world altogether. And they ended up bringing back their numbers because they wanted to use them like in the United States cows are used. So they brought back their numbers to a decent amount, but again, they never made it back out into the wild, unfortunately. But we're going to exit the savannah, guys, and head into the Magadi Glen, the newest part of the reserve, and it does look like some stuff has moved in. Alright, coming up on your right here, all the way at the top of the hill, is a yellow-billed stork. Now, yellow-billed storks do have a diet that consists mostly of frogs, fish, snakes, and small birds. A lot of times they're going to follow behind hippos or crocodiles in the water, and that's because they're going to churn up mud and organisms in the mud along with it. That's pretty much a free meal for the stork. But I'm going to move on to talk about this gorgeous animal you guys see on your left-hand side. That is a scimitar horned oryx. Now, unfortunately, they are 100% extinct in the wild as well and can only be found on reserves like this one. It's so sad, too, because they are such a cool animal. They actually don't need to drink a lot of water because they don't start sweating until their body temperature hits 115 degrees Fahrenheit. But as we exit the Magadi Glen, guys, unfortunately our journey through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve is coming to an end. Please remember that wherever you guys live, you can enjoy the outdoors and help protect and preserve natural habitats and wild animals. Great ways of doing this is recycling. ocean. Paper for the bongos and electronics for the elephants. Yes, I understand each of you is just an individual person, but an individual person can make a difference in this world. And we want to make sure these gorgeous animals are here for generations to come. And not more end up like the scimitar, horned oryx, and the bonkabok. So reduce, reuse, and recycle. Well, thank you guys so much for spending time with me today, and please enjoy the rest of your day here in the Harambe Village or wherever your adventures may take you. Now on the reserve, we don't like to say goodbye. It's just too sad and too final. So instead, I'll leave you guys with Kwaharini, which means go well in Swahili. So Kwaharini, my new friends, enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. For my wilderness explorers on board, you guys were riding the single one. Single one is your truck. If you guys do have any other questions, again, my name is Kristen, and my windows are on